Hi friends, welcome or welcome back to Laura B. Flosstube. I'm Laura. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Flosstube 39, so I'm really close to Flosstube 40. I don't know why that's exciting for me, but it is. Today is August 29th of 2023, so if you're watching this after that date, then there may be some changes and updates. There may not be, but stay tuned, right? I just want to give you a subscriber update. I am up to 2,960 subscribers. Super excited about that. I've gained 113 subscribers in the last 4 weeks, which seems crazy, but hey, it's all good. And I'm so glad that you guys are joining, that you're tuning in, that you're commenting, that you're enjoying what you're seeing, and I really encourage you to continue following along. You never know what I'm going to get myself into. So I'm just going to dive in because I have some cross stitch updates, some quilting updates, a little bit of a life update, and just some plans in the works. So I know that's why you're here. So we're just going to do it. All right. So I have been focusing, I was focusing on Autumn Love the last month and a half. So I started focusing on the houses on Peppermint Lane, which is a pansy patch quilting and stitchery design. And I am a couple designs behind. If I was stitching along with Fat Quarter Shop, and they had it broken down to where you would be doing the Needleworker House in August, or starting it on August 30th, depending on which way you want to go with that. And I am on the house, that is house 8 of 9, and I'm on house 6. So I'm a couple houses behind, but that's okay. And I actually had a moment last night because, well, I went to stitch on my Pinwheel House and I discovered that this side of my house was 2 squares further over than it was supposed to be. And I had outlined it along with the little chimney. So I had to rip out all that whole entire side and the bottom and the chimney because of the way the bricks are. It wasn't like I could just rip out part of it and be happy. No, I had to rip out the whole thing. So then I was like, okay. So I measured, I counted, I stitched it again, and I had to rip it out again because then I was like 2 less than I was supposed to be. I don't even know how I did that, but I did. I ripped out so many stitches last night. I really feel like I would probably be done with the roof if I hadn't ripped everything out that I had to rip out. In fact, my husband was saying that when I was ripping out my stitches, he was like trying to talk to me, and he said, "You really gave me a look like you are so stupid. Leave me alone right now and do not talk to me." And I was like, "I don't think you're stupid. I never think you're stupid." And he was like, "Oh, the look you gave me, you clearly were saying with your eyes that I was stupid." And I was like, "Well, it had nothing to do with you. It had everything to do with the fact that I was so frustrated because seriously, I ripped stitches out 3 times last night, and none of them were less than at least like 20 stitches each. Yeah, so this entire side is like 49 stitches. Yeah, so I bet I ripped out 150 stitches last night, at least. Ridiculous. So anyway, this is my progress. All of that to say, here's my progress on the Pinwheel House. It's getting there. I think that probably a couple more evenings and I will be finished with this one and be able to move on to number 7. So just so you get an idea, the Pinwheel House looks like this when it's done. And the next one is the Pomegranate House. I have my patterns laying here, so. And this one was supposed to have been done already, but it's not. So here's the Pomegranate House. And then the one that you're supposed to be working on right now or starting tomorrow, depending on how you want to play along, this is the Needleworker House. So yeah, I am kind of behind, but I'm okay with it. Whatever. It's going to get done when it gets done. I was really hoping to have it done before Christmas. It might happen. I don't know. At one point last night, I was like, I am so tired of this stitch. I think I'm quitting. But I'm not going to quit. I mean, I have almost 6 of the 9 houses completed, and it really is turning out to look pretty darn cool. Look at that. That is so neat, right? It's hard to be positive when you're ripping out a bunch of stitches, but this looks pretty darn awesome. I love it. And just for a reminder, or if you haven't been here before, I am stitching this on an 18 count Aida. It is a hand dyed tea and coffee dyed Aida cloth that I did. And then I also splashed a little bit of the rose quartz Rit liquid dye on it just to give some pink accents. You can't really tell that in my videos, but there are some, pinker shadows here and there on the cloth. So yeah, that's where I'm at with the houses on Peppermint Lane. I think I'm probably going to continue to focus on it until it's done. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I might choose something different for September because it's September. So the other thing was with cross stitch. Sorry, I'm scratching my leg. Bug bites. Oh, goodness. Okay. The other thing with cross stitch is Stitchonomy is doing another free stitch along, but you have to sign up on their website by September 15th. And the stitch along starts on the 29th of September. It's a free stitch along for Halloween. It's kind of like their annual free Halloween stitch along. So be sure to sign up with that if you want. If you don't sign up, then you can join their pattern club and you can get the whole pattern from them later on, or you can get early releases during the stitch along. But if you sign up for the free stitch along, then they will email you, I don't know if it's daily or if it's once a week, I'm not sure, with the patterns, and then you just can collect them and stitch at your leisure. So make sure you check that out. Okay, so quilting. Let me scoot. Oops. Sorry. Okay. Quilting. If you follow me on Instagram, then you saw a tease of this quilt. I finished the Farmhouse Star, you guys. I'm so excited about this. I know a couple of people commented that they had started the Farmhouse Star quilt and then hadn't finished it because it got a little monotonous with all the same shapes. And to be quite honest, yeah, it kind of did. There were 55 stars in the quilt. Of that, I believe like 19 of them are the scrappy ones, so each of their points are a different color. The others are all like solid stars, and you kind of use the shapes to turn it into a solid star, to cut or to stitch and flip the entire star at once. I enjoyed it. I kind of broke it down into segments and just told myself, okay, I'm going to do all of the 4-inch stars today. I'm going to do all of the 6-inch stars today type thing. And I just kind of stitched all of the same size at once and then started going through the different sizes like that. And then after I had all of that done, then I started doing assembly. And I'm telling you, assembly was fun because it was so cool to see like sections of the quilt come together and then getting those put together. It was so cool. I did have to take some stitches out a couple times because, so if you're making this quilt, the one thing I would just tell you to keep in mind is that a 5-pointed star definitely has a top and a bottom and you don't want your top on the side or upside down. So that was the only thing that I had problems with a couple times when I was stitching my blocks together. I just wasn't paying attention and had a star that was like, sideways or something. So I'd have to unstitch it and put it back in there. But other than that, everything went together great. The measurements were spot on for the borders, and the patchy or the scrappy borders were also really easy to follow. I did limit this down to basically 3 colors, and I had like 7 or 8 different fabrics, I believe. But it was really easy. It went together really quickly. The only, part of it was just turning the same shape over and over. But, any quilt that you do that has similar blocks in it, as long as, if it's not a sampler quilt, then you kind of get that, right? You're going to have the same type of sewing for each block or whatever. So that didn't bother me too much. And I'm really happy with the way the top turned out. I actually did get it quilted last weekend. I went to my brother's and quilted my Sew Simple Shapes king size and mini, or my Sew Simple Shapes remix and mini remix king size quilt. And I also quilted this Farmhouse Star quilt. So both of those are sitting on my table and they are begging me to get the binding on them. And hopefully that will happen this week. If not, maybe over the weekend. So that's kind of where I'm at with all my quilting stuff. The other thing that I would say with quilting, there's another sew along coming up. Lori Holt. Yay! And you know that I'm in on that, right? So I do have my Sew Simple shapes. If you haven't watched my video on all of my applique tips and things that I use and I do while I'm doing her quilts, check that out. I'll put a link at the end of the video so you can just hop right over there. Otherwise, you can find it on my channel. But I do have my Sew Simple shapes on a ring, all sorted and ready. I have not done any of the tracing for the interfacing yet. This sew along starts September 18th, and it is an applique quilt. It's the Hometown. And I also have my kit. It arrived yesterday from Fat Quarter Shop. Super excited about this. I pre-ordered this as soon as I saw it on their site a while back. I did open the box, but I had some schoolwork to do yesterday. So I told myself, no, you cannot play until you get your schoolwork done. But I got that done for the week, so I can play now. So they do print out a full color sew along guide that goes with the Stitchonomy, and this is from Riley Blake. So I'll be doing my 3-hole punches on that today and getting my binder set up, and then possibly tracing some of my shapes. If I don't trace the shapes, then I'll probably trace the shapes first. I'll trace the shapes and then I'll start cutting fabric and bagging it up and be hopefully ready to go by the 18th of September so I can start working on this one. So that is all of my crafty updates. Last Flosstube, I asked you guys, and thank you so much for those that commented. I asked you about a planner because Fat Quarter Shop the last couple of years has done a planner with Lori Holt, and I love it. I mean, I love the planner so much. It has, and I think it's just because I'm used to it. I've used it for basically 2 years now. And I'm just familiar with the layout and I like the way it's broken down. And I couldn't really find anything that was like comparable to it on the market, which is, to be quite honest, pretty sad. But I did find a planner and I don't even know. It's like Le Home? I don't know. I found it on Amazon, so I do have my 2024 binder. I plan to make a cover or something for it. It does have pretty nice spaces in here, and then it does have a 2-page spread for the monthly calendar. A couple of things that it's missing that I'm just spoiled with the Lori Holt planner. It doesn't have a place for me to write like my crafty goals or my quilty goals for the year, and it doesn't really have like a starting page for the month that lets me write the goals and stuff either. So that kind of makes me sad, but we'll figure it out. Or I may just cut some paper to put in it, and because I have the little tab punch, so I could just cut some papers to put in there for each month, so I could write those down and still have that benefit of what I've been used to. So planner secured. Unless someone sees a better one, and then please tell me, and I'll switch. Okay. Anyway, and then my life update is that class has started. I'm taking my first master's class with the University of Missouri here in Columbia. It's with the School of Information Science and Learning Technology, SignUp, and the program is Learning Technologies and Design. I am right at the very beginning. There are 30 hours to the program. I am basically going to take one class a semester, so it's going to take me a little while, but that's okay. I'm figuring like 3 years is what it's going to take with summer sessions, and I do have 1 or 2 semesters that I'm doubling up, I think, but for the most part, just one class. So the journey has begun to receive my master's degree, and we'll see where that journey takes me, I guess. So, but that's really all I have for today. Thank you so much for sticking around and listening to me ramble. and I hope to see you again soon. Please like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and leave me a comment below. I do try to respond to those within a day or two. And especially if you have questions or you need more information about anything you saw, let me know and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Until then, have a great week and happy stitching.